short story for children. Heart of Gold. Vocabulary in the story. 1. Guli danda, used for playing tip cat. 2. Kurpi, small spade. 3. Chowkada, watchman. 4. Chapels, slipper. 5. Nala, stream. You're in our charge. I won't allow you to neglect your studies, she warned. I opened my satchel and started studying. If you do this again, I'll have to tell Chaku Chaudhry, she continued. I looked at her, but did not dare ask who Chaku Chaudhry was. Have you seen Chaku Chaudhry? Asked Shankara on the way to school the next morning. Chaku Chaudhry? I was surprised to hear the same name again. Who is he? I asked. Look there, he pointed towards a nearby field. I craned my neck. A big able-bodied man was fighting with a bull. He was pushing the strong animal. On the way back I asked Shankara about Chaku. Chaku has wild red eyes and a wide jaw, said Shankara. Dalapu confirmed Shankara's description of Chaku by imitating his waddling gait, while Amity added, Chaku was 6 feet 3 inches tall and quite fat. The strongest and most feared person in our village, said Renu. No, not only in our village, but in the whole area right up to the canal. No one dare oppose him. To make his point, Shankara emphasized every word. As we approached the house I saw Aunt standing at the door. I ran home without even saying goodbye to my friends. I had some milk and quickly sat down to do my homework. But Chaku remained in my mind all the time. Chaku was the most feared person in our village, I repeated the words to myself. At night I asked Uncle about Chaku. He is a brave man with a lion's heart, said Uncle. He killed 3 dacoits who had come to loot our village once. He killed them alone? I asked, surprised. Yes, no dacoit has ever dared to come anywhere near our village after that, Uncle said proudly. Then he must have got a big prize for bravery. Would you like to meet Chaku? Asked Uncle abruptly. No, I'm afraid of him. I don't want to see him, I said frightened. Uncle laughed, but Anne suppressed her smile. I also came to know that the village Sarhala was popularly known as Kuni Sarhala, because of the murders that had taken place there. For a while, I felt ashamed of studying in a village with such a nickname. One day, while returning from school, we saw a man digging a grave. That was the first time I was seeing a grave. It was a deep, dark pit. At noon, one Sunday, when everybody was indoors, I decided to dig the ground in front of our house. What are you doing, dear? I heard a throaty voice. Digging a grave, I replied without looking up. I was sure it was Fakira. For whom is this grave? For your ghost, Fakira. But I'm too big for this small grave. I'll cut you into pieces, and a resonant laughter followed. I turned. It was Chaku. I couldn't find my voice. Why are you upset, dear? He asked affectionately. I ran for shelter, leaving my kurpi and chapels behind. I didn't enter the house, for I was afraid Chaku would come in. Why are you running away from me? I'm Chaku, your own Chaku, he spoke loudly. I heard something more which I could not understand. For 3 hours I hid behind a bush. The butterflies didn't interest me. It appeared they spied on me and would report back to Chaku about his grave digger. After this incident, I avoided Chaku as much as possible. One rainy morning, 5 of us classmates were wading happily through ankle-deep water. It was Chaku who came to our help by warning us of a nullah ahead. Chaku was really great, said Dalapu. I could only nod my head. One evening, when we were playing on a sand mound, Dalapu boasted, I'll catch hold of Chaku's neck when I grow stronger. But he has no neck, retorted Amity. All of them laughed. But I did not. Chaku's head is like a truck's headlight, said Renu. There was another ripple of laughter. This time I smiled, a feeble artificial smile. Here comes Chaku, cried Shankara. I broke into a cold sweat. But thank God, it was only a joke. My heart was still pounding. I stood first in my class in the first quarterly test. Uncle patted me on the back. Aunt gave me a piece of sweet bread. My treants demanded a treat. Chaku, too, came to congratulate me. On seeing him, I shut myself in the bathroom. But I could hear him talking to uncle and aunt. "Where's our little nephew, our good nephew?" asked Chaku. "He must be playing outside," said uncle. "I'll give him a prize if he stands first in his final examination," announced Chaku. I felt proud and decided to step out. But when I saw Chaku at a distance, I beat a hasty retreat. One afternoon, I was watching a juggler's show. "Is my grave ready, Pashu?" a voice asked from behind. Without looking back, I ran from the scene. I was sure Chaku would one day catch hold of me and punish me. In the half-yearly test, too, I stood first, in spite of the fact that I deliberately left 2 questions in one paper unanswered. Once again, my friends and others flocked to our house to congratulate me. My parents, too, sent me a letter of congratulation. Thank heavens, Chaku didn't come this time. That night uncle told me, Chaku was quite generous to the poor. "Does he really help them?" I asked. "Yes," said uncle. "Also, he loves children." I was stunned. "Then why does he frighten us?" I asked. "Maybe for the fun of it." "Does Chaku beat those who don't study?" Uncle smiled, shaking his head. But Aunt hastened to say, "Chaku never spares those who do not obey their elders." Examinations over, I went back to my parents. I knew I would have to discontinue my studies as there was no high school in our village. Moreover, my father had a limited income. I did not want to return to Kuni Sarhala because of Chaku. Deep, in my heart, I did have a sneaking regard for him. I cursed myself for being so afraid of him. The results were out. "Pashu, you have broken the school record. You got more than 80%. Uncle himself brought us the good news. I was thrilled. But, when he said, "Chaku has not forgotten his promise," I turned pale. "I'm not going to the village just for the sake of receiving from Chaku a gift of a couple of notebooks and pencils," I said curtly but firmly. "Chaku won't eat you," said uncle. "A present is a present, however small," said father. Mother intervened. "Pashu won't go now. He'll go there after some time with me. I know Chaku loves children." The next week, a message came from Sarhala. Chaku was ill. He wants to see Pashu. I thought it was only an excuse. I didn't go. But I thought of the Chaku and prayed for his recovery. 3 days later, another person came from Sarhala. "Chaku Chaudhary has sent this so that Pashu can pursue his studies," said the messenger, thrusting a few currency notes into my hands. "Why has he sent money? Isn't he well?" These questions raced through my mind as my eyes welled up with tears. "How's my Chaku? I'll go to him. I'm not afraid of him," I cried, quite overwhelmed by now. Mother counted the money. 500 rupees. "Chaku has no child of his own and feels lonely," said the man from the village. "I'll go there. I'll study there," I said, tears pouring down my cheeks. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment and share to make this channel growing.